In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with Premiere and After Effects together to link the files so you can start off in Premiere, work in After Effects, and then bring it back over to Premiere to save out and export. What you'll definitely want to have done are at least rough cuts of your final versions. So maybe you don't have everything done over here, but you have them in the sequence that you want. You have basically the right timing, and this way it's going to help as much as possible with the After Effects that you want to do. So to get started, you can select one, or you can select both or all of your clips together depending on what you want to do. But maybe both of these want special different effects to them. We can do that. So let's get started with that one. So making sure that this is in white to show that it's highlighted. If we right click, which is control click on a Mac, we will just want to do replace with After Effects composition. What this will do is open a new composition down here, and I'll also add it up there. And you can see that it's named Premiere plus After Effects underscore intro because that's what I originally named the Premiere file. Now, though it's one clip, even if you brought, let's say, 5 separate clips in, it would still read as one chunk. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to edit each individual chunk anymore. It would read as one bar. So please remember that. That's why it might be better to bring in the separate ones if you have different treatments, or if you're just really good with timing and you know how to work with those little bit of issues, go ahead and bring them all over. If you want to bring 5, 6, 10, whatever you want, that's really up to you. But let's just do something a little bit more complicated than you could do in Premiere or want to do in Premiere, but something simple just to save on time. So I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to right click and do a new text. So I'm going to make sure I'm on text down here and maybe make sure my font isn't too big. And so maybe I want some sort of label, and that's fine with that. And I can always work with the type over here. And there's my jellyfish. And now I want to go to V, which is your selection tool, and just be able to move that around a little bit more. So I have my type, I have my video in the background, and I just want to move this off the screen. And I'm going to come down to transform, and we're going to work with positioning because I want it to roll on the screen. So I'm going to hit that, and that's where I want it to be, and then maybe in 15 seconds we'll have it come over here. You can hold down shift while you do that if you want, or you can work with these if you remember that. So playing back. So nice and slow coming in, sort of just like the jellyfish are. And honestly, maybe a little bit too slow, so I'm just going to fasten that up. There we go. And remember, it is going to move slower just because, you know, it has to catch up to this RAM. So there's a lot of information happening in the back. Just remember, this will play slow to begin with, okay? What I also want to do is make sure I highlight both of these keyframes. And let's go and work with the graph editor. Remember with the graph editor, what that does is make things a little bit more smooth to work with. It's almost like the smooth tool. And you can, you know, work with moving those down. You can also add the easy ease in. And remember, instead of going like straight, that will help curve it a little bit more. So I might not want to work with that one, that positioning, but the red one. So I can move that up, I can slant that. Let's just see what that one looks like in comparison. So it goes a nice quick to sort of short. That's kind of nice. Let's go a little bit longer. Remember, this is really good too if you want like a little bit of a bounce, but not too much, just something playful. And there we go. So we can work with that. And I say, for right now, that's a wrap. And I'm just going to do Command Save or File Save As. And then let's come back over to Premiere. And you see, because I saved in After Effects and because they are linked, it's come back. Let's bring this down a little bit. Now for some reason it's come off a little bit on the side there. That could be an easy ease thing. So I would just want to come back over here, play it through, and see if anything's different. Yep, I do go off a little bit. So I can come back into my graph editor and just make sure it stops at a safe place. And this is the great part, like now that I've linked it, great, okay. Now that I linked it, I'm going to save as, and then I'm going to come back over to Premiere, and let's play it again. Great. So it worked just fine there. Now, I will tell you, instead of being purple anymore, that's a Premiere thing. It's now going to be pink. Though you think that might be InDesign, but both of them are a different version of violets. But it's okay. So when it is in After Effects, it is going to be in pink. Another little secret is that this will most likely be in red, and if you guys remember, red just means it might slow down, it might not be up to par. But if you come up here to the red and you hit enter, this is going to render the video so you can see it sort of like in real time. So if you want to do that, just don't touch it anymore, don't touch the red bar, but this will render for you. And it might take a hot minute like it is, but okay. There you go, now it's going to play in real time, and you see that it's in green. So just remember, red just means it's going to be slower, it's loading, but if you just hit enter over the red bar, just go click return or enter, it's going to play in real time for you. And so that looks really nice. Now what I probably would have done too is maybe had this vanish, and so I'd have to go back into After Effects and figure that out, but for the time being, you understand the connection there. Okay, so I'm going to come over now to this guy, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to control click, come down here, replace with After Effects composition. Now remember, each of these will be different compositions, and this is great because what's happening is instead of having several different files of After Effects coming to life, which can really slow down your computer, each of these is going to be in one file. So that's great because it saves on space and honestly location. So you save this file and all your compositions are going to be in here that you can bring up and open again. Okay, so again, this is one single bar. If you brought in 10, it would be the same thing because you're bringing it over as one, or you're composing it as one to bring it over. But again, you can come over here and you can work with different effects. So we can do something with this clip if we want to as well. Again, we can bring in something from Illustrator if we wanted to. We can work with type if we wanted to. That's really up to you. But I'll go ahead and bring something in here. So I'm going to double click over here and let me find something we can bring in. So I'll bring in that. Composition, yes. And let's just say I wanted one of these stars. So I'll bring my star down and I'll make sure my star is on top. There we go. So for whatever reason, I wanted that star there. And so remember, I want this anchor point in the middle of here. So I'm going to double click on that and then just move that there. And then just X out of that, which is a sub layer, and there we go. So this way, if I wanted to rotate that or anything, I can do that now. So again, let's just say I did want to maybe have it position, and then I'll move it again. So there to there. And again, this is going to play slow because it's a big file. but I know that's the general thing that I want. And I'm also going to work with opacity. So I'll have that at 100, and then I'll come here, and let's have that at 0. So again, just playing through here, everything's okay. Oh, that's kind of interesting. And there's my 0 mark. So again, you can bring in things from Illustrator. You can also bring in things from Photoshop as well. Alright, so I'm going to save that one. And let's come back into Premiere. And I got the jellyfish. And there's my star. And remember, if I click here, let's pause that for a sec, have the red here, make sure my playhead's on there too, hit that. It might take a hot minute, but we'll go through. And then it will render, it will play green, and it will play to the speed that you want it to be. And there we go. Now this is the most popular way, and possibly safest way, to work with going from Premiere to After Effects back to Premiere. But I'm also going to provide a link as well in my comment section or whatever to another video that has basically 3 different ways you can work with it. It's about 12 minutes long, so if you're interested in working that way, you're more than welcome to. There's just different functions of how you can work with these things, but this is the most popular way there seems to be. And there you go. And then you would, of course, if this was completely done, you'd export it, File, Export Media, and then make sure you're on H.264 and then match source high for rates. Also make sure that you want to save the output name to something else. It's always going to save it as the first clip that you put in, which can get confusing with filing, so save that correctly and then do export down here. And that's all that's to it.